What was normal in the 1990s but rare or non-existent now? When picking someone up from the airport, you could wait for them at their gate, calling the movie theater or looking in the paper for movie times. Oh well. Hotlines for the weather report, current time, and movie show times. Pressing play and record at the same time. A printed list of family and friends' phone numbers stuck on the fridge. Renting movies, video games, VCRs, and game consoles. Yellow pages. Telephone booths. Talking to your friend's mom to see if they were home. Floppy disks. My parents had a file cabinet full of those things. Taking your disposable camera to get developed and having no idea if any of your pictures were even usable until you got the pictures back. Keeping a binder full of CDs in your car. Card catalogs to find books in a library. Being unreachable. Handwriting important documents. Wait for the bus without doing anything else than waiting. Giving a meeting point and a meeting time in case we get lost. I used to write 10-page letters to a girl I knew in Norway, and she did the same for me back in the States. I'd get like one a month, and it was so exciting to read them. People had to put so much thought into those letters before the internet. So probably that. Home telephone and answering machine. Also with these, memorizing phone numbers. Being completely unreachable by anyone for an entire day or more with no one thinking that it was unusual or rude. Coin arcades in malls. And the malls, I guess. I kinda miss arcades. Having an actual answering machine plugged in with the phone. Having to go home to hear messages. Landline home phones. And having to talk to your friend's parents for a couple minutes while you waited for your friend to come to the phone. Calling from a payphone for a ride but calling collect and saying your name as in here come get me to save the quarter. Blockbuster. Ren and Stimpy. America Online CDs in the mail 3 to 4 times a month. Playing multiplayer video games with all of the players in the room together. We had some pretty heated N60 for parties. Pagers. Basic knowledge of MS-DOS. Being told to get off the internet so someone could use the phone. Eavesdropping in on a telephone call. You had to cover the mouthpiece to make sure they wouldn't hear you breathing and laughing. Modem noises. Showing up at someone's house unannounced because you were in the neighborhood and wanted to say hi. Remembering at least for important phone numbers. Those red bars you would put across your car's steering wheel to prevent theft. MapQuest and special stores that would print out directions for your road trip. Dial-up internet. MTV playing music videos. VCRs. A pet Tamagotchi. God, the chores I did for that thing. Walkmans. Horribly heavy CRT monitor screens. Back then I had a landline phone, camcorder, film camera, tube TV, VCR, dial-up internet, pager, and a newspaper subscription. All gone now. Roller rinks are now very rare to come by. Pre-COVID you would go to one around once a year, but now post-COVID they're almost all gone. Also in the 90s everyone actually went to them pretty often, especially for birthdays. I used to have one of those nice leather Franklin Covey planners. It let people know you meant business, lol. Every year, I would order a new calendar for it. Other rarities for me are having a checkbook, buying magazines, watching the early morning news for weather and traffic, having books in the bathroom, going to the mall to just hang out. I got an old-ass home movie of my friends and I just hanging at a mall. Sharing food. It was so much fun. Now the mall is a slog. Showing up at your friend's place unannounced. Now you gotta send a text for years in advance. Columbia House 1-cent deal. Using AskReddit as an online introduction. People born in the 19th century. Hyper-colored t-shirts. Kids just doing their own thing. Having a key to the house since you'd be the only one there when you got home from kindergarten on. Walk to it from school from kindergarten on. Landline phones. Alfalfa sprouts on sandwiches you buy at the supermarket. White dog poo. Surge. When the other kids in elementary school said MT. Do contained an artificial dye that shrank your penis, I didn't believe them. If they had said Surge did, I would have believed them. Certain gas stations carry it now. Only making calls after 9 p.m. because it was free. Having to buy minutes on a phone. Long-distance calls costing money. Pogs of all kinds. Finding porn in the woods. VHS tapes. Knowing your friend's landline number by heart. Wallet chains. Ashtrays in restaurants, bars, cars, and airplane seats. Ace of Base. Meeting people at the time and place you said you'd meet them when you made plans days or even weeks ago. You used to say, hey, let's hang out on Tuesday at 7 p.m. at downtown bar, and then without ever having to text or call again you'd both meet there. A Discman plugged into a cassette tape with a wire to play music in your car. Always went with the smoking section cause the wait was shorter. Feeling like the future is bright and that things can only get better from here. A billboard for a beeper company that had a sexy woman in a bikini suggestively straddling a giant beeper that, I assume, was on vibrate. Buying batteries, so many batteries. Cinemax Friday After Dark, and that one channel that had scrambled porn. Gas that was under $1 in the US. I still feel like I was in an alternate reality, but I remember. Size 30 to pants. 67-69. The Twin Towers being shown during scene changes in movies and shows staged in New York City. Crystal clear Pepsi. Calgon taking me away. A private conversation. Not being able to reach friends or family on the phone and not being worried about it. Video rental stores. Blockbuster was big but lots of locally owned businesses too. I miss being able to go through the aisles and discover something new. Cigarette vending machines. Those fucking slap bracelets. Calling Miss Cleo. Privacy. In the 90s you could just go somewhere and not have to worry about every tiny thing you do, everywhere you go, what you wear, what kind of cereal you like, etc. being harvested. Now it feels like every single thing we do or decision we make in life is monitored and recorded. Worse yet, people seem to be okay with this because it's convenient. 1. 2 to 3 foot snowstorms in my every winter that didn't melt right away. 2. Putting a disc in my PS1 or PS2 early 2000s and just playing the damn thing without having to stress over downloads, uploads, installs, random updates, online crap. 3. Kids outside all the time until the streetlights went on. CDs. Subway Club card. People calling each other instead of texting or emailing. Thou. Paying in order to listen to a song you liked, or sitting in front of the radio with a tape recorder and trying to get it fully without the radio staff speaking mid-chorus. A genuine feeling of hope and togetherness. I was to 12 in the 90s and it was the best time ever. Video games just hit harder back then. 9/11 was the beginning of the spiral, and we haven't stopped spiraling since. A single family home under $200,000. Grunge music. AOL. Paying with exact change in cash. Using a giant book to navigate when driving instead of Google Maps. Heading down to Blockbuster to rent a VHS. Payphones. Pen pals. Pager. Tamagotchi. Pogs. J&CO jeans. Oversized Disney